Hello there and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, this time taking a look at the second part of the summer event story. Now, I gotta say one thing, it really feels like this story is very short. I finished it pretty much in like an hour, less than an hour, something along those lines. And it just feels like the story hasn't really moved in the slightest when it comes to, well, other than a bunch more info about the Goddess of Prophecy. Also, I'm very sorry, in the last video I talked about continuously the Goddess of Fate. I was wrong. I thought the second one was the Goddess of Fate and the third one I couldn't remember the name, but it's the other way around. It's the Goddess of Creation, Goddess of Prophecies in the in the constellation Metropole, where you are in the second part, and the Goddess of Fate, which is at the end of the world. So yeah, I'm very sorry for mistaking that. Well, even with the story being kind of short and not really going anywhere, what actually happened? Well, you go to the train station, like, at the end of the first part, you say that, Grand Parliament is gonna wake up the guy at the train station and, well, you take the train. But before that, you actually meet up with Kirara. I honestly thought this would be the moment to meet up with Navia, because in the trailer, Navia is seen in a train. So I thought that this is where you meet her, but actually in reality, you meet her just like 5 minutes later. But still. So yeah, Kirara, just like Nilu, woke up in this world, but she woke up in the constellation Metropole instead of waking up in the Forest of Blessings. I'm actually kind of surprised that with Kirara going and exploring the Metropole, she didn't actually meet with Navia, or she didn't see Navia and try to interact with her. It would have been actually kind of nice later when you do meet up with Navia, that she would at least mention Kirara, right? Like, I saw like someone with two tails running around the roofs of the buildings around and whatnot. Anyway, so you meet up with Kirara, you do a bit of conversation. The little critters are scared of Kirara because Kirara is a cat, a Nekomata. Still a cat with two tails, but whatever. And they're a bit afraid, and that's like a really nice little moment there. Then you just take the train and you arrive at the island in front of the constellation Metropole, and you do get to see the power of the Goddess of Prophecy there, which is protecting all of the inhabitants of the Metropole, which are all little Lego guys, I'd say, like clockwork Lego guys. They do look like that, and they even have the hands are very Lego minifigure styled. And you find out that it's protecting them. It's pretty much whenever something bad happens, everyone in a certain area freezes up, and they can be rewound in order to save them or to see what exactly happened. So let's say someone falls off a cliff, boom, time is stopped, you can rewind it, well, someone else can rewind it, and they can put a little fencing that doesn't allow the other person to fall, and, when you resume time, the other person doesn't fall, and so time continues normally. Now, the whole story of the Metropole is all about the Goddess of Prophecies wanting to, at some point in the future, allow the people of the Metropole to live their own lives without this power still, stopping them from making mistakes, pretty much. And it's not really showcased until you get slightly later into it, because at first, you go in, you enter the city, there's a bunch of guards coming in, you meet Navia, who is the king, which is kind of cool. And I guess she's called she's the king and not the queen, mainly because the storybook is written with a king in mind, but anyone could have been taken in to become the royalty of the castle. And yeah, you find out that at some point in the past, the dragon came in and broke down a couple of the stars that are hanging up from the sky, pretty much. There's no real ceiling. And that's pretty much your mission. There's a bunch of monsters in the castle, and you have to fight them. You have to solve a couple puzzles / problems for the little Lego guys in order to get the necessary stars. Then once you get to the top and you put the stars back up by taking a flying train, which I really feel like it's supposed to be a reference to the Astral Express from Star Rail. And that's actually really cool how they're referencing their other games within Genshin, and I really hope we'll get more, well, there are references in Star Rail to Genshin, like the the glider that there is in Herta's curio room. And after you solve that little issue, and you also meet the statue of the Goddess of Prophecies, but it's just like something that you can ask it some things, but most of the time, like half of the time, it's not going to respond, and half of the time it responds with things you already knew about. The answers to the questions you already knew about. So that's a bit annoying that it's kind of like a robot that's been programmed to respond that way. So yeah. Well, after that, a couple little Lego people come in and are like, "Please, King, do not start up the gear thingy, so that we can stay on this predetermined path we have." And Navia's like, "I won't. I'll give you the time you need to, and we will all wait until you are ready." And at that point, you know, they both realize that, well, you know, we should just do it. You know, we are sort of prepared, even though we don't really think so. And so you know, we push the gear, we start up the music box, because the whole Metropole is a ginormous music box, which is quite an interesting choice. And yeah, I'm guessing that the spell of the Goddess of Prophecy is now gone, and the people within the Metropole can die. Yeah, kind of an interesting thing, especially with how clumsy they generally are. Anyway, but that's besides the point. And that's pretty much where the main story stops. But I do gotta say, again, we see the concept of fate once again playing a big role into the problems of the whatever people we're helping. Everyone is pretty much on a straight road, going and having no real path that they can truly well, no, actually, no, it's not really specifically like a certain path, because they still have free choice and free will. It's just that the power that, you know, stops them from making huge mistakes, like falling off a cliff. But either way, it still plays into the concept of fate and choosing your own faith and your own path. Now, for the side quests, I've seen only one. I haven't logged in today, which is, you know, now is the day after, so it's possible that there's another one. If there is another side quest, I will be talking about it in the next part first, before talking about the third main story. But unfortunately, there is just a very small continuation to the to the Princess and the Frog quest from the first area, which is, I went to them and all they had to say is like, you know, now the princess's advisors know that they're both guardians, and she says, she tells them to reassure them that, you know, they can't stop her, and that she will be starting a way to train more and more guardians. So that's that for it. But we do have a Kirara quest here, where we go ahead and explore a little town in the very first island before the Metropole. Now, this is actually a voiced quest because it's part of the 5 quest thingies that are in the event tab. So that was really cool. And what is it all about? Well, it's about three toy guys who are part of the 3 different clans who started the Metropole, right? Who are the founders of the Metropole, but each of the clans have a different history that they believe, and so they fight and they bicker, and they've been doing that for a couple of years inside a little cave, with a key that is said to be have been placed there by the initial clans, by the initial leaders of the 3 clans. Well, you go there, you take up the key, and then you start a little adventure with the 3 guys to find out which one of the 3 is telling the truth, which one of the 3 clans are the real founders of Metropole. And you end up seeing that all 3 histories are true. All 3 have the signature that is accurate and is the right one. And then it pretty much is revealed. Oh, right, there's also a narrator guy who is, you know, giving you directions and little hints, and is a bit sassy when you think about it, but I really enjoyed that. And there's a little twist towards the end of the quest where, you know, the three guys from the clans end up like agreeing with each other, like, yeah, all 3 are real, and we'll just go now do our own thing. We'll go back to our own clans and tell them what we found and whatnot. And yeah, a day later, pretty much in universe, a day later, you meet up with the 3 guys again, where one of them was actually knocked out. Initially, you're made to think that he died, but there's no way they're gonna kill someone, especially in a very like friendly environment like like a storybook. But yeah, and it ends up that the detective that was present at the crime scene was actually the one who attacked your friend and whatnot. And you start a little chase. You do get to use Kirara's like wall climbing ability, which is really nice. By the way, the Kirara skin is, I love it. It's cool. It's cute. It's like Nekomata in boots, Puss in boots. And throughout the whole quest, the Kirara's like, I'm not a cat, I'm a Nekomata. And I'm like, isn't that kind of like the same thing, other than you have two tails and are yokai now? Because I'm not entirely sure, but aren't Nekomatas just initially cats who become yokai? Anyway, that's besides the point. So back to the detective. You chase the detective, you get to him, you corner him, and in the end, it's revealed that he is actually the narrator that has been helping you throughout finding out the truth about the three clans, sorry. And why did he do that? Well, because he is one of the people who were there back when the goddess of creation and the goddess of prophecy and the goddess of fate, all three of them, created the world. So he knew the truth. He knew that they were just a bunch of characters inside of a storybook, and he wanted to also showcase that to the three clans, to the guys from the three clans. But instead of them being more curious about the reality and the truth of the matter, they decided, okay, we found that out, and that's about it. We'll just go our own separate ways, which the detective didn't really like. An interesting thing then happens where now that the whole, I'm not entirely sure, and I don't remember exactly what the goddess of prophecy said there, but either way, the goddess of prophecy comes in and talks a bit because they became the end of the page came really close to the footnotes, something that should never happen, but it does happen here. And I don't remember. God damn it! I played it last night and I don't remember exactly what she said. But anyway, she told him something that to the detective that like reinvigorated his will to continue living in this story world. Because the whole thing has sort of a thematic of like, which is more real, the fiction within this world that we find ourselves in, or the reality of this fictional world, or the fiction within Teyvat that you can find within Teyvat. And that's kind of an interesting thing, because in a way, even though everyone within the book is technically fictional, they don't really exist, the world within is as real as Teyvat. Especially with the way the magic works and whatnot. Like even the Imaginarium Theater is as real as anything. It's not really an illusion, it's an actual place that's been created. And that's pretty much where, where the whole thing ends, with the three guys from the clans realizing that they are technically fictional characters, and you just put the key that you found at the very start back into its pedestal. I kind of hope that there would be something else, especially since the story quest makes you wait 2 days and then go put the key back, and I thought, oh, there's gonna be a little mini epilogue, but no, not really. The three guys do say something, but it's not really of any importance, and it's not even voiced for some reason. But yeah, this is what I'm saying, that the story feels kind of like, the side quest was cool, but there was no continuation to the Princess and the Frog quest, because we already knew that they would tell the advisors at some point, so that's not really something new. And the main story of the event for this part was very underwhelming. You just find out that the Metropole was attacked by the dragon at some point, and then the Goddess of Prophecy created an emergency button for its inhabitants, but that's about it. There's nothing really that pushes the story forward. And of course, it all ends with us going towards the Titanium mines to actually confront the dragon. So I guess that's where we'll meet Scaramouche. And yeah, I know that I said in the last video that maybe we'll see the Goddess of Prophecies as Mona, because I was thinking maybe we'll get some more characters other than just the ones showcased on in the trailer, but I guess I was entirely wrong. It's just a random toy that repeats the same thing over and over again that we meet up at the top of the castle. And And that's about it. As I said, kind of underwhelming in my opinion, but it's still really cool and really cute for a little summer event to go through. But I really hope we see something of more substance once we meet Scaramouche and once we meet the dragon, right? Like a reasoning as to why the dragon fought. Oh, I forgot about one thing though. The toy people actually fought a different dragon back in the day, a long time ago, the dragon of old, which they actually managed to defeat by making someone humongous and then with a potion and then talking to it and saying, "Hey, dude, look, like we're also people. We also want to live. Let's all be friends." Which is kind of weird, but then again, it's part of the 3 different truths that that created the Metropole in the end. But yeah, that's about it from me for this episode. I kind of cannot wait to make the 3rd one and see what's actually going on in the ending. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, why not leave a like, comment, or even subscribe? I should thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.